And let's go. Welcome everyone to the Board of Trustees meeting of Delhi Township for February the 23rd. Tonight, as we usually do, we will open with the Pledge of Allegiance followed by a moment of silence. It's interesting that tonight's moment of silence is actually dedicated to the loss of one of the pillars of our community, and that's Del Weddle. Del is, he's been a great supporter to many organizations inside this community. He had 3 children, he had 9 grandchildren, and 22 great-grandchildren. I know that he will be sorely missed by the Delhi Citizens Police Group, the Delhi Skirt Gang, the Delhi Veterans, and he was a 50-year member of the Shiloh Methodist Church. So when I speak of Del as being a pillar of the community, certainly that explains that definition of Del Weddle. So we will hope that he and his family grieve through this with a rest of peace. Pledge of allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. All right. Mr. Luby, can we have the approval of the minutes, please?
Motion to approve the meetings for the Board of Trustees special meetings held on January 25th and January 26th, and the Board of Trustees regular meeting held on January 26th, 2022, and dispense with the reading.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Yes. Motion passes.
Motion to approve the payment of overtime for pay periods ending January 25th and February 8th, 2022.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Yes. Motion approved.
Motion to approve bills for payment.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Yes. Motion approved. Report from our fiscal officer now, Mr. Luby.
Resolution 2022-15, resolution amending appropriations for expenses, declaring an emergency and dispensing with the second reading.
I'm going to introduce the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Is there any discussion on this resolution?
I can tell you this is for turnout gear for the fire department, a budgeted expense, or structural pants and coats. Probably boots and helmet. Yeah, there you go.
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes. Resolution passes.
Resolution 2022-16, resolution authorizing the township administrator to spend greater than $10,000 on behalf of the township, declaring an emergency and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution? Mr. Cameron?
I'm going to defer to Mr. Ripperger. This is, we budgeted for 2 new big salt dump trucks that are plows, etc. Came in a little bit higher, but I don't know if Mr. Ripperger wants to elaborate that on a little bit.
Yeah, this is something we had in the TIF budget. We budgeted probably about 5 or 7 years ago. The number stayed the same. I knew it was going to be a little tight, but I didn't think it would be that tight. It was actually over budget by a little bit for multiple reasons, supply and demand. We'll be actually lucky to probably get the truck, or the 2 trucks this year. Steel prices, there's multiple reasons really. So.
All right, thank you.
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes. Resolution passes.
Significant transactions since the last meeting. On 2/3, our payroll was $315,000. On 2/17, our payroll was $311,000. We cut a check to Harrison Excavation for $51,000 for demo and rapid run. Check for $38,000 to Stryker Sales Corp, which included $26,000 for 2 Lucas 3 chest compressors. And a check for $47,000 to Branstetter Carroll for design services for Delhi Town Square. As far as receipts, we did receive $4,225,000 for the real estate tax advance, $45,000 for cable franchise fees, $29,000 in local government fund, $27,000 gasoline tax, and $18,000 in permissive motor vehicle license tax. That's all I have.
Mr. Levy, would you repeat what we got for cable?
$45,000.
Wow. We used to get close to $300,000 on cable franchise. The way of the world. Moving, trustees' correspondence, Trustee Davis.
Well, shout out to our police officers and all of our park employees and such with the new area up there that just opened up. Seems to be starting to be a place for our teenagers to hang out late at night, and being where that is located, they can see you coming a mile away. But so we appreciate everything you've all been doing to try and keep that going. That comes from the neighbors that live literally right there next to it, especially when they have little babies and kids that are trying to sleep, and you hear the banging and everything that goes on, because there are some kind of musical instruments up there with drums and everything else. So they are most appreciative of that. They're very appreciative of our cameras that are now, hopefully, we're almost completely ready to roll, which is another tool in the belt there to help when things go south. We have a point of reference there. So, bravo, thank you so much to our incredible police department, and the neighbors are very, very happy with that. The only other point was something I know that we all got contacted with email regarding a couple properties and things like around the park, but all for another time. So, thank you.
Trustee Stearns.
Yeah, I'd like to, am I on? Okay. I'd like to thank our Public Works Department and all of our employees that worked on the roads and the snow removal. I heard kudos from everybody on our streets. It's always nice to educate people that our main drags are not our streets to take care of, but I got a special kudo on a cul-de-sac. There must have been some piled snow, and Public Works came back with backhoe and a truck and removed it, and they were highly impressed. So thank you for all of your diligent work in taking care of our streets. Kind of a follow-up to Trustee Davis's, we do receive emails from time to time, and we just want to put it out there again. Some of the situations or items that a resident may want to talk about, we can't talk about it. Depending on where we are in the process of what's going on. So please, if you're a resident and you don't hear back from us, that doesn't mean we're ignoring you. We just can't talk to you sometimes. So please be aware we're not being negligent. We do read everything that you send us. So thank you for that.
Just again, to reiterate that it's such a pleasant time when you don't hear all the complaints about the snow removal and the street conditions, and it makes you very proud of the work that our Public Works Department did to keep us safe, as well as our police department monitoring any bumper thing that happened along the way. But I think we were very fortunate through the snow and ice. I really do. It could have been a lot worse. And just good job, guys. Thank you so much. All right, special presentation tonight.
Thank you, Board of Trustees. We're here to recognize one of our own for a job well done above and beyond. Bring your attention back to April 24th, 2002, when we had a missing individual, wrote a suicide note stating what she was going to do or what the intentions were. So a lot of work went into it back then, but unfortunately the case went cold. There was some questions as far as if the individual left the United States with her 2 children, or if she carried out what she was claiming she was going to do when she wrote the note. So with that, I'd like to bring up Officer Heather Taylor. Last year, middle of last year, towards the end of last year, Officer Taylor came to myself and Lieutenant Macaluso and brought to our attention that we were coming up this year, actually April 24th of this year would have been 20 years that those 3 individuals were missing. So she took it upon herself to ask us if she could open the case up, read everything, review everything, and run with it and see what she could do with it. If nothing else, just to bring awareness that this is 20 years and maybe get it back out in the forefront, along the riverbanks, all these different jurisdictions that maybe somebody saw something back at that time and will come forward that we might be able to have some information to maybe close this case. So with that, I'm going to read a little synopsis here of the case. On April 24th, 2002, the police department took a missing person report on Stephanie Van Wynn, age 26, and her two children, Christina Wynn, age 5, and her brother John Wynn, age 3. Stephanie left a suicide note that said she would drive her vehicle into the Ohio River near the Grand Victoria Casino boat in Rising Sun, Indiana, with her children in the car. A search of the Ohio River was checked at the time, but there were no signs of the vehicle and or Stephanie and the children. Delhi investigators worked that lead along with other leads that she may have left the country. Over the years, the case went cold. In March 2021, Officer Heather Taylor of the Delhi Township Police Department requested permission to look into the case. She explained that the 20th anniversary of the case was quickly approaching and wanted to see if a fresh set of eyes on the case would help. Permission was granted, and Officer Taylor met with Mrs. Wynn's family, the ones living locally. Other family members that lived out of the state were also contacted. It was clear to Officer Taylor that the family did not know the whereabouts of their loved ones, and they too hoped they were still alive, just refusing to let anyone know where or how they were. Officer Taylor worked with numerous agencies on the cold case. The Ohio BCI Cold Case Unit was contacted and they assisted Officer Taylor. The National Weather Service was contacted for historical weather and river conditions to estimate the possible location of the vehicle if it indeed entered the river near Rising Sun, Indiana. The U.S. Coast Guard also provided river conditions at the time. Indiana Department of Natural Resources was contacted and they assisted with the waterway access points and provided divers to search the river. The Hamilton County Police Association dive team was also contacted and they also provided divers and logistics. The FBI assisted with tips and follow-ups that we had received in Houston, Texas. The Indiana Gaming Commission assisted due to Stephanie working for the Argosy Casino at the time in Lawrenceburg, Indiana. The Department of Army Corps of Engineers assisted with river charts and mapping for the 3 gaming boats in Indiana back in 2002. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police assisted with border crossings into Canada. The Department of Treasury assisted with intelligence looking for offshore transactions and the date range of the missing. Homeland Security and Immigration Customs assisted her with all the border crossings into the United States. The Army Corps of Engineers also assisted with the river navigation charts and dredging records during that time frame. NamUs Fingerprint Unit under the U.S. Department of Justice assisted by uploading the missing person information into their database. Ohio BCI Crime Lab assisted with the resubmission of DNA from a suicide note. The FBI Behavior Unit in Quantico, Virginia also assisted with profile information. On October 14, 2021, conservation officers from the Indiana Department of Natural Resources and the Hamilton County Police Association dive team were able to locate Mrs. Wynn's vehicle in the Ohio River. The vehicle was located in Aurora, Indiana, in 53 feet of water, about 300 feet from the shore. Keep in mind, officers did dive back in 2002 trying to find this. Just a couple pictures here. There's Stephanie Wynn on the left, her 3-year-old son and 5-year-old daughter. This is when the divers went down into the water looking for the vehicle. This actually is a photograph once they got down there and located the vehicle. This is a photograph. It's hard to see, but you can tell that's a picture of the license plate under the water, 53 feet down, 300 feet offshore. This is as they pulled the vehicle up. It was a 1997 Pathfinder at the time. There it is up on the flatbed being towed back to the coroner's office in Indiana. And that's it inside the coroner's office. The human remain was found in the car when analyzed with the hope that DNA could be extracted. In January of this year, 2022, a positive DNA match from the recovered bone, one bone, fibula, was positively identified as Stephanie Wynn's. Many different agencies worked this case, analysts, special agents, departments to help bring this tragedy to a close. However, none of this would have been possible without the hard work and dedication of Officer Heather Taylor and the cooperation of all the aforementioned agencies. Officer Taylor should be commended for her hard work and dedication bringing closure to this nearly 20-year-old cold case. I would like to also say, other than these agencies, there's tons of other officers that were involved with this back then and recently, but she's done an outstanding job. There's 3 pictures there where she was recognized by the Hamilton County Police Association. Takes nominations from throughout the county for a year. Among all those nominations that came in from all the jurisdictions in Hamilton County, Heather's case was picked, and she was honored back in January at their awards banquet. So those are pictures of Heather and her father, 2 natural resource officers there at the bottom, and then myself. So honestly, I can't say enough to Heather and all of her hard work. That vehicle, there's no doubt, would still be at the bottom of the river had she not walked in and asked permission to open this case up, and for that she should be commended for her service. So with that, Lieutenant Macalusa, patrol officer, patrol supervisor, and also she worked closely with Lieutenant Macalusa. They both got together and made the recommendation for commendation for the Extraordinary Achievement and Significant Meritorious Service Award through Delhi Township Police Department. There's a ribbon. There's also a ribbon for your uniform. We appreciate everything you've done. All right.
Keep this exceptionally brief. One of the amazing things, call it luck or divine intervention or what have you, is if you look at that bottom photo, that Indiana conservation officer on the left, his name is Max Winchell. He came down from Terre Haute, Indiana. IDNR only employs so many divers. Max came down a day early and camped out as a conservation officer would do. He got bored, and with that boredom, he decided to take the boat out and mark our targets for the next day. And he is the reason, with that side scan sonar with Lieutenant Brandon Schultz on the right, that we found our vehicle. And the other just spectacular piece of luck we had was Ohio BCI Crime Lab is free to Ohio agencies. They do not charge for their services. We are one of 3 labs in the nation that do mitochondrial DNA, which is DNA inherited through the lineage of the mother. Without Ohio BCI, those remains would have remained unidentified. They could not get a full profile at the time at the Indiana State Crime Lab. So our partners in this really helped us get an answer to a long and unfortunately sad case.
Can I get a picture with you? Yeah, come on. We're not done.
We're reminded so frequently of how fortunate we are in Delhi for the Delhi Township Police Department. And you doing this just, there's just icing to every cake, and that certainly was it. We are unbelievably proud of you, as well as everyone who assisted you. And it just gives us great humility, and we're just thrilled. We're thrilled. And what you have offered to this family, the relief of knowing what happened to their relatives, their children, their daughters, it's unsurmountable. Thank you, Heather, from a very grateful community. Trustee Davis?
Had I been anywhere else, I would have thought I was listening to a Lifetime movie or something. Holy smokes. I mean, just everything that was involved and unpacked there, it was like, it really is unbelievable, and I concur with the Trustee Seeley said, just the peace, the not wanting to hear the news, but you brought peace to the situation for the families involved, and maybe even for those, for this young woman with her 2 kids, and just that, just like I said, it just brings a peaceful time, and thank you for that. And you used the word luck when you were talking about this piece of luck and that piece of luck. Luck is when preparation meets opportunity. You were prepared. That was the opportunity. You and so many others that you all came together. And just the fact that it happened is miraculous. It really, truly is. Looking for a needle in a haystack, and you found it because you were determined. Thank you so much.
Listening to the extent of the help and the breadth of the communities and the different departments that you reached out to is just mind-boggling for me. And to know that you went as far as you did and you kept going and you just kept digging until you found that answer, whether it be finding them or not. So again, very grateful to have you on the force, grateful for the force, grateful for the support the force gives you. And as a resident and as a trustee, couldn't be prouder. And thank you so much. And you have good things ahead of you, and we hope you stay with us to do those good things and lead us on. So thank you.
Jim, did you want to say anything?
Heather, you bring great pride to this police department in this township, and we're grateful for it, and wish you continued success.
Those of you who are watching this can't see this, but in the back of this room are her fellow police officers, as well as the DCPA is represented. So if you don't think she has support and that deserving recognition from her peers, you just need to take a look around this room, and you know it. It's great. Thank you, everyone, for being here to help us celebrate Heather.
I'll say one more thing. I did say she went above and beyond just to do this, but a lot of this too was taking this case home and reading it. She still had her patrol duties and shifts that she worked on the road and everything else. So she truly went above and beyond.
Thank you.
Wow. I don't know, Chief Campbell, do you want to follow that? Yeah, if we will take a minute, Chief Campbell, and let the police officers have a moment to exit if they needed to.
I want to be able to take pictures.
Yeah, they'll want to take pictures.
See you guys.
Bye, Mark. Okay. All right, we'll move on through the agenda then with the fire department, Chief Campbell, and hiring recommendations, Mr. Luby.
Motion to approve the hiring of Donald J. Burke as part-time firefighter EMT in the fire department at the rate per the collective bargaining agreement with the Delhi Firefighters Association and successful completion of the pre-employment physical, drug testing, and background check effective on February 23rd, 2022.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Motion approved. Chief Campbell?
We welcome Don to the department. We're excited to get him started. He is a fresh recruit, so like I always say, like Nolan Marcel, so we welcome him on. We'll get started with training right away.
All right. Continuing, Mr. Luby?
Motion to accept the voluntary resignation of part-time firefighter paramedic Eric P. Mormon effective on February 25th, 2022.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Yes.
So I'd like to say welcome to Donald J. Burke, and I wish the best of luck to Eric Mormon.
Yes, Eric is leaving us for the city of Cincinnati. He finally got that dream call he was looking for, starting his full-time employment with the city. So we wish him well, and we thank him for his years.
We thank him for his service here. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I have no agenda items from Parks and Recreation, but did you have any updates?
To probably reiterate this for
Tom, but
It's all right.
we are still looking for summer seasonal help. We have a full-time parks maintenance worker. We need to fill that position. And we are also doing a push for volunteers at Floral Paradise Gardens this summer. So there are forms online where you can download those and be a volunteer to help beautify our wonderful Floral Paradise Gardens. In addition, really not going to run through the events. We have a lot of events planned for this summer. You'll be seeing those coming up here periodically as the summer goes on. Starting in April, we're going to be kicking into the high year. There's a lot of new events we're doing, a lot of different bands coming to our concert series in the park. So I think some of the fun things that we hope the community will embrace and we can bring back for bigger and better next year. So got to fill these positions where we're a key thing right now.
Yeah, the events would be a lot easier to do if we had some help in the parks. So if you know some people who are looking for some part-time job, and we have one full-time job in the park as well, Delhi Township is hiring, so consider. Because I looked at his agenda for the summer and thought, whoa. I mean, he's got something going in the parks like practically every week, every other week. It's constant, and it's come off a lot easier and a lot better and a lot more enjoyable if we have some help.
Thank you.
Madam Chairman, can I ask you a question, please?
Sure.
Dang, now I forgot what I was going to ask you. Oh, is it possible to publish now all the concerts that are coming out? Only because other communities are putting theirs out,
Yeah, we'll definitely get that.
and the sooner the better. So I'm out there.
Yeah, we got 4 of them lined up. Our first one, I'll just mention, will be June 16th. We have Bad Habit. We have on July 21st, The Tillers. We have on August 18th, Forever Diamond. And then we have on September 15th, the Danny Fraser Band. So we'll get those posted. We actually just completed the brochure this week, so we'll get it online.
Great.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thanks, Greg. All right, continuing along then with the police department, I have no agenda items, any updates? You've done your thing for the evening, right? Okay. Public Works, Mr. Rupperger?
Thank you, trustees. Just wanted to touch base on the Rapid Run road closure. This has been in the works for, I know, at least 3 years through Hamilton County Engineers. They've been seeking funding and finally got it worked out to where it'll be closed, Rapid Run between, Ebenezer and Devil's Backbone they're calling it a culvert, and sometimes they call it a bridge replacement. So it'll be 3 months, weather permitting. I think for the size of the project, that's somewhat of a short time, but I know it's a lot of inconvenience for the residents. But we will have contact information for Hamilton County if they have any questions on our website, and I believe it's already on Facebook. So Hamilton County Engineers can answer.
And that particular stretch of Rapid Run is used a lot by the schools and the school buses, so we're going to have a lot of switching and changing of traffic and where we'll back up during these 3 months, so just be aware. Thanks, Ron.
Thank you.
Okay, administration, Mr. Cameron?
Well, I have no agenda items, but I had a couple things I might highlight, and I don't think we talked about the wonderful gift cards that went out for the electric aggregation. So just briefly, we've gotten a lot of calls on the aggregation program for electric. We had a price change, it lowered in June of last year, and I honestly don't know how many, maybe 50% of the households, the price didn't go in effect on the first day, so there was a credit due, and it was anywhere from pennies to $16, I've heard some got back. And it was a short amount of time. Anyway, to make everybody whole with the program, they decided the most effective way was a gift card, because they cannot put a credit on your account. It's not their account, it's Duke's account. So PUCO does not allow that. So they issued gift cards, and that created a lot of confusion because it came with your name emblazoned on it as a courtesy, and you knew it was yours, but it looked like a credit card. And so a lot of people call that. It is a gift card like any gift card you might get. It's preloaded. It doesn't have any of your information. So I think we've worked through a lot of those issues, and I think Energy Alliances worked through a lot of those issues. So anyway, it's a gift card, and it was to make you whole on your account if you didn't get the lower price on day one and it got in effect, the next month kind of thing.
Well, I think it's unfortunate that it happened, but I am very grateful for the fact that they found a way to correct it to everyone on the program. And I think that says a lot, that they're willing to make it all right, around the way that, PUCO wouldn't allow them to take it directly from your bill. So that's the good news. So enjoy your $4 credit card. And $2.
We got $1 at the township.
We got $1 at the township. So.
We got a lot. I do have a question. We got a second one in the mail this week. Do I get the bonus, or what's going on now?
I didn't hear that. If you got extra money, then so be it. I think some people got duplicates. For some reason, there was a glitch. So it added to the fun they had with the gift card confusion to start with. So
I will tell people that.
yeah, if they can cash another one, go for it. But I think if you did one, then the other probably won't have value to it. But
Right.
I know some got two.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Cameron, do you have any update on Delhi Town Square?
What? Oh, the project up there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So the one thing I said, we'll tell you is that the newsletter will hit probably next week, and it's got quite a bit of, there's actually a Q&A in it, so people should look for that, and then there's some Delhi Town Square information, so more than I'm going to tell you right now. The project is continuing to move forward. We're working on finalizing some permits. We're finalizing pricing for the remainder of the building, so right now we've got the site work priced out, contracted. We're working on the final pricing for the building, so the way this works is Turner, our construction manager, gets with their subcontractors who price out HVAC, electric, plumbing, drywall, painting, flooring, bricks on the building, the footers, et cetera, and then they keep packaging that back to us and saying, here's a couple thoughts on the way they're suggesting you could maybe install this, so we're working through that, but we're pretty close to finalizing all that. The site work should hopefully for permitting and weather alike June, the site should be pretty much ready to have the buildings start coming out of the ground, but the timing and COVID delays and supply chain issues, notwithstanding, we're going to keep our fingers crossed. But as you might expect, it's a little over budget from what was originally estimated in October, but I think a lot of that's due to labor and supplies, but it's not anything we didn't expect, and it's not terrible. So,
Well, we went to the SORTA, which is the Southern Ohio Rapid Transit, okay? And then today we went to the Hamilton County, what do I say, Development Corporation?
well, they've renamed themselves Hamilton County
Oh,
Development.
yes, they're now Alloy.
Yeah, they're now at Alloy.
They're now Alloy. But it's interesting that we've created quite a buzz with having this development going in. And a lot of people and a lot of developers are asking about it. They've all heard about it. And it's kind of interesting to be in the center of the buzz. And we just want to finish it and be the best there is. Thanks, Mr. Campbell. Did you have any questions? Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, community development. Greg DeLong, our assistant administrator. Ready for the resolution, Mr. Luby?
Yep. Resolution 2022-17, resolution certifying violation abatement expenses at 428 Vaughn Road to the county auditor for assessment, declaring an emergency and dispensing with second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution, Mr. DeLong?
I think the pictures say enough. You can see on the left, that's what the condition was like when we had to go in to abate it. And the picture on the right is what it looks like now. So let's hope it stays this way.
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes. Resolution passes.
Resolution 2022-18, resolution declaring nuisance for accumulated debris at 4819 Mayhew Avenue, declaring an emergency and dispensing with second reading.
Introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution, Mr. DeLong?
Yes, just so the public understands what we're looking at here, that property in both those pictures, the one on the left, you see a toilet sitting outside along with some various other debris. And then the photo on the right is furniture that's been sitting in the rear yard. The property was in that condition as of this morning, so we do request to declare it a nuisance.
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading? Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Libby, please call the roll.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes. Resolution passes.
Greg, might I throw something out there since we're talking? I had a resident stop me yesterday about Old Pedretti at Clover Hill, and I know that there's been a frequent flyer in there. But this is if you go down Old Pedretti, make a left, and right before, it's on the left, right before the apartments, I guess there's the brush area and everything in there, which is just filled with garbage and everything else. So if we could put that on the burner there, I have to see who that is. I don't know if it's the apartments land there or if it's a homeowner, but
Yeah, we'll take a look at it. This
Yeah.
time of the year, things really stick out. They get stuck
Exactly.
in the brush, unfortunately, so we'll take a look at it.
awesome. Thank you so much.
All right. I have no public comments turned down, so we'll continue then with the announcement of community events. Mr. Libby?
The Delhi Branch Library Programs, the in-person book club, is Saturday, February 26th from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. And that's at the library at 5095 Foley Road. Join the group for discussion on Transcendent Kingdom by Ye Gyasi. The in-person homeschool book club is Wednesday, March 16th at 1 p.m. at the library. Appropriate ages are 8 to 12. The group will be discussing Strange Worlds Travel Agency by L.D. Lipinski. Registration is required. Contact the library with any questions. Delhi Township Veterans General Meeting is Tuesday, March 8th at 7:30, and it's at the Delhi Senior Community Center at 647 Need Road. The public is invited to learn more about the Veterans Organization and membership. The Easter egg hunt hosted by the Delhi Business Association is Saturday, April 9th, with the rain date being April 16th. It's at 10 a.m. Please arrive by 9:45. It'll be over shortly after that. It's at the lodge here at 5125 Foley Road. This event is free to all children, ages up to 8 years old. Find that certain egg and win a prize. Delhi Spring Craft and Vendor Show hosted by the Delhi Parks Department is Saturday, April 9th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. It's at the Delhi Senior Community Center on Neeb Road. 35 vendors with homemade crafts as well as products from popular companies. Contact Delhi Township Parks Department at 451-3300 with questions. Delhi Historical Society program, the West Side Natural, will be Monday, April 11th at 7 p.m. and that will be at the lodge. Join Writer Director Joey Woodstatter for the premiere of the West Side Natural. Visit the Society's website to learn more about this and other programming opportunities. That's all we have.
All right, thank you. We do have need for executive session this evening, so if I can have that motion, please, Mr. Libby.
Motion to retire to executive session to conference with an attorney on pending or imminent court action.
So moved.
Second?
Mr. Libby, please call the roll.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes. Motion approved. Well, thank you everyone for being here this evening. Our next meeting will be Wednesday, March the 9th, back here at the lodge. We're not back in the admin building yet. The elevator is still out. So until further notice, we will be here in the Delhi Lodge. Hope to see you all then. Thank you very much.